Hello and welcome to Howzzat. We are getting close to the business end of IPL 2020. And with me to discuss last night's games is Vijay Lokapally, my friend and colleague. Very interesting games, Vijay. Result that did not go to expectations.
Yeah, very good morning. And yes, interesting games. Chennai winning the game and Rajasthan snatching it from Mumbai Indians with a very authoritative performance.
For just that brief while, if you can call 3 hours a brief while, Chennai would have been nursing hopes of a dream finish of all five teams finishing on 12 points each, and Chennai having an outside chance to sneak through, but Rajasthan Royals with their victory over Mumbai Indians put paid to those aspirations.
I know this message came from you. These are the ways where CSK can qualify. And then came a message from you, it doesn't qualify. So it was very, within 3 hours, CSK's hopes rose and vanished.
The kind of performance that Chennai Super Kings gave yesterday afternoon, Vijay, was typical of Chennai Super Kings. Three spin bowlers, including Mitchell Santner playing for the first time, and stifling the Royal Challengers Bangalore batting. Can you imagine Virat Kohli and AB de Villiers, the two best batsmen that Royal Challengers have, being stifled by spin bowling?
Full credit to the CSK bowlers, especially I'm very fascinated by Santner, who when I remember Rajaraman when he came to India many years ago, Mr. Bishan Singh Bedi was raving about his action, his attitude, his approach to the game, calling him an old world spinner, and which he proved yesterday. I mean, he was so confident bowling to some of the world's top batsmen. And you're right, Virat Kohli and De Villiers struggling to even pick singles was respect to Santner's skills.
Surprisingly, Vijay, and both of us have wondered why Santner was not played earlier. In fact, he might not have played yesterday even had Josh Hazlewood been 100% fit. We got to hear Faf du Plessis at the end of the game speak about how it was a forced selection on Chennai Super Kings this time.
Josh got hurt his ankle a little bit in the previous game, so more of a forced change to bring in Mitch Santner today, and he's a quality international spinner, so he knows what he's doing. Very accurate. Him and Imran and Jadeja are three international spinners, but also at the end we were really good today. I think our margin for error was a little bit bigger than on a normal wicket because the nature of the slowness of the surface. But Deepak and the guys bowled really well to the end to make sure that we restrict them to a modest total.
Yes, that was a very good revelation by Faf du Plessis, and there are times when such selections are forced upon you. Remember Rajaraman so many years ago in 1994 when Sidhu woke up with a sprained neck, pain in the neck, and Sachin Tendulkar was handed the job of opening the innings, and look at how he grabbed it. So
always fascinating to see destiny play a role. Santner, for example, playing yesterday and making an impact on the game, and then allowing Rituraj Gaikwad to not feel the pressure of having to chase a big score. I think one of the youngsters that Chennai Super Kings has invested in, he showed maturity, Vijay. He's not had a great time so far in the tournament, but in getting that half century as an opening batsman, he showed that he could just tap the ball into gaps and take singles and play with a lot of assurance. Of course, he played the big shots as well, but there were not too many boundary hits, and it was good to see him employ maturity and understand the needs of the game and play a very smart innings.
Yeah, I think it's really important for guys like Ritu, especially, they're getting an opportunity now, which is the future probably of a team like Chennai. When a lot of the guys I've played a lot of cricket, and the CSK brain trust will start looking at players who are the future of the team and who he can start building with. So really, really pleased for him that he got some runs under his name today. Heard a lot of good things about him as a player. Apparently, he's had a really good season, but obviously the confidence you get when you get those runs in the middle is the best part of it. So hopefully today is a start of a great career for him at CSK.
And I don't mind revising my opinion on Gaikwad. I was wondering at some point whether he really belongs to this platform the way he had shaped up in the earlier games. But here I would like to give credit to my friend Surendra Bhave Rajaraman. He came on one of our shows and he expressed his opinion on so many batsmen. But Gaikwad, yes, he showed that he belonged to this platform, and the way he gathered his runs, you're right. He was so mature in his approach.
The changed intent, and you could get to see Faf du Plessis attack the bowling, which was unusual because he's always scored at 125 or thereabouts. And then for him to up the ante, uh, allowed some of the pressure to be removed from Rituraj Gaikwad, and he could play his normal innings.
It's always good to see a youngster perform, Rajaraman, and especially if he's the batting there in the company of somebody like Faf du Plessis, with such rich experience of all formats of the game. I'm sure Gaikwad's whatever lessons he learned would come in handy whenever he gets to play this tournament, and maybe next season also, because he would definitely be part of. He would love to be part of the Chennai Kings setup. It's a very professional team. It's another matter that this year we have seen the worst of CSK.
While it is the end of the road for Chennai Super Kings as far as IPL 2020 is concerned, we have to see what it can do in the future. And I think the fact that it has given someone like Rituraj Gaikwad an opportunity. They played Monu Kumar yesterday, his first game. They're going to try out a few new faces and see if they fit into their plans for the future. Let's watch what Faf du Plessis has to say about the culture that exists within the Chennai Super Kings team.
Yeah, I mean, CSK is a very, very proud franchise. We've got amazing fans that's very loyal to us. We've got a great management group of coaches and captain, but we've also got a great owner who makes sure that there's not a lot of pressure on the players. So obviously the performances hasn't been to the standard that CSK is used to, but the management has been really calm and positive. And seeing that it is an opportunity to look at some new players. CSK has been very successful over the last 13 years, and now it's a time to start giving opportunity to new guys. So the last few games would be exactly that, making sure that you look ahead, how you can build from these two games to next season.
Vijay, we move to Bangalore because it is the side which is still in the hunt and remains in the top three despite the defeat yesterday. Was a bit surprising that on batting first, they did not post a good score. It seems that 145 was below par for them. And to see AB de Villiers and Virat Kohli just take singles, bide their time in the hope that there would be some bad deliveries and not be able to play those big shots was quite different to the kind of batting that we've seen RCB employ this season.
I think it was driven by the surface because Virat did express his apprehensions about the playing surface, and he talked of pitch being difficult when he was batting, and De Villiers, of course. But then they are too experienced, too professional, not to have adjusted, not to have adapted. Definitely for their fans, at least, I'm sure De Villiers and Virat, definitely they both played below par.
Let us watch what the RCB coach Mike Hesson has to say about the batting performance of the Royal Challengers Bangalore.
Yeah, very much the pitch. I think we saw throughout it's a tough wicket to come out and hit from ball one. I mean, probably the two best in the business. Kohli and De Villiers really, batted nicely, but it was really difficult to be able to put the foot down if the bowlers bowled in the right areas. So, we weren't able to do that from a bowling point of view. And as I said, coming out at the end on a surface like that, try and hit from ball one was always going to be tough. So it was far easier if you had a set batsman in.
Mike Hesson, very candid, as most New Zealanders are, admitting that RCB played below par yesterday. And they have a tough road ahead of them. Two very good contests against the table toppers, Mumbai Indians and Delhi Capitals. And then there is a game with Sunrisers Hyderabad. RCB will have to be on top of its game, given the fact that it has got three very good games ahead of it. Will have to play at its best to ensure that it makes the playoff and then gets to the final.
Yeah, you're right about New Zealanders being candid. That's the way they play, very transparent, and admitting that they were below par, he's only stated the obvious. They look below par, but then RCB is a team which can gather strength and, of course, lessons from the loss. They have a fabulous batting lineup, no doubt, and a good bowling attack. The other night we saw Saini going out with a finger injury, so we'll have to wait and see if he's available. Because there's no news come on it. But yes, RCB is well balanced. They are on the right track, and to me, they have looked good in the past also. But this time, they're looking very determined. Forget this game. They did not poor tactics, definitely on behalf of Virat and De Gea both, but they are on course.
You spoke about Navdeep Saini being injured and going out of the field. Talking about injury, I think the Rajasthan Royals did a good job of nursing Ben Stokes all along. Apparently, he had a bad back, and then for him to come and play the kind of knock that he did, getting 100 against a very, very good quality Mumbai Indians bowling attack, was really, really wonderful to watch.
Absolutely wonderful. That's the way Stokes bats. That's the way Stokes is. He can take away the game on his own. We saw that fantastic innings at the World Cup last year, and he was just waiting to play this innings. And good that he came out and opened because it gave him the freedom, it gave him the space and time also to settle down. And he lost little time in settling down because the fact that again, I'm repeating myself. He has all the shots. You cannot really shackle him saying that, okay, you'll pin him down on the leg side or on the offside. You cannot. He is a fabulous cricketer, very confident, and he loves to hit those shots. So Stokes coming into this form was very good sign for Rajasthan Royals.
The manner in which he played Krunal Pandya and Rahul Chahar was also good to watch, Vijay. There was an assurance in which there was a method to how he played the spinners. And I think that really won the game for them. We all know that he can bat against the faster bowlers with a lot of confidence. But to see him play the spinners the way he did would have warmed the cockles of many a Rajasthan Royals fans' heart.
Yeah, at this stage of the tournament, Rajaraman, where we're in the almost last leg, the pitches, the wear and tear factor is to be seen now. The pitches have become slow. They're assisting the spinners. So you will have to adjust. You will have to learn to play your shots against the slow bowlers. And you can't just say that, okay, you want the ball to come up nicely. That will not happen because other teams have been doing their homework. But in case of Stokes, he's also done his homework on the spinners. So look at his footwork, the way he used his feet to play those bowlers.
There was immense self-belief. Sanju Samson coming good for the third time in the tournament, getting his third half century and enjoying a very good partnership with Ben Stokes was good for Rajasthan Royals. But the belief that they could chase down 195, especially after Hardik Pandya gave the bowlers a pasting in the end, was good to see for Rajasthan Royals, Vijay.
Yes, because the batsmen knew the bowlers had been demoralized by Pandya's assault. So they had to come up with their good work. And Stokes, good for him that he had Sanju Samson at the other end. Also, Samson didn't try to match him because normally that's what he does. He gets, he gets carried away. We have seen that. Inconsistency has been a problem with Samson, but good. He played a very critical innings, and this, I'm sure, could prove to be the partnership for if Rajasthan Royals makes it to the playoffs.
The Stokes and Samson partnership really gave Rajasthan Royals a chance to remain in the hunt. And let's watch what Steve Smith, the captain of Rajasthan Royals, has to say both about Ben Stokes and Sanju Samson.
Well, I think when you're chasing 195, you can't really afford to have too many overs where you don't score too many runs. So you have to keep that intent, even against bowlers like Bumrah, who we know how good he is. You still have to score off him. So we were able to just play with such freedom and just take the game on. And I thought Stokesy and Sanju did that beautifully tonight. I went out there at the timeout, and I think we needed 12 and over at one point, and then they brought it down to around 10 or just under. And they said they felt like they hadn't even taken a risk. They were just playing really good, lovely cricket shots, and I'm really pleased with the way they were able to close the game out. Stokesy always prepares really well. He's a million miles an hour in everything he does, and he was suffering in a couple of games with a bit of a sore back, which it's never good in T20 cricket when you're trying to hit the ball hard. But I just thought his intent today from ball one was magnificent. He came out and played some really nice cricket shots, took the game on, and got himself going. And once he was going, he was just playing good cricket shots and hard to stop. And it was a magnificent innings for us.
Rajasthan, of course, will be happy that Jofra Archer continues to bowl as well as he has done in this tournament. Easily a leading fast bowler, just in the same league as Kagiso Rabada for Delhi Capitals. But then we'll have to talk a little bit, Vijay, about Kartik Tyagi bowling to Hardik Pandya in the end of Mumbai Indians innings. It will be quite a learning experience for young Kartik Tyagi.
Yes, this whole tournament is a learning process for Tyagi, and in the company of Archer, you would have learned how to temper, because you can get carried away by your pace. There are times when the pitch will assist you, and you tend to bowl short, tend to bounce the ball more. But look at Archer, how controlled he is. He knows, and he also studies the batsmen. Accordingly, he attacks them, some with short ball, some with pace. Tyagi will do well to develop a good Yorker, because that is what will help him in at least in T20 games, and also the slow one, which Archer also is good at. So it's a good learning process for Tyagi, and I'm so happy that he has someone like Archer to learn from.
Someone like Shreyas Gopal combining with Rahul Tewatia to keep a check in the middle overs. I think they have perhaps been the most understated and less celebrated pair of spin bowlers, and they have done really well for Rajasthan Royals this season.
Yes, much less celebrated. You are absolutely right. I mean, you look at Tewatia, yes, people are learning to have discovered this player only now at this IPL, but Shreyas Gopal has been in the business for some time, a very highly rated leg spinner. He is equally good in day's cricket, where he plans his batsman out, but here, by keeping the pressure on the batsman, he is able to get the best out of his leg spin.
Tonight, Vijay, there is a good game on. It is as good as a knockout game with Kings 11 Punjab taking on KKR. KKR has got a 2-point lead on Kings 11 Punjab, and Kings 11 will try to secure a fifth successive win and bridge that gap with Kolkata Knight Riders.
Oh yes, very exciting game, and definitely Kings 11 will go hard at KKR. I mean, they know it is a do or die match, so that will be like a knockout match, as you said. It will bring out the best out of the team. There will be a lot of attrition on the field, a lot of outthinking. So we can expect a close contest where not an inch will be conceded by either team. And I expect the Kings 11 Punjab to repeat their performances of the last 4 games.
It is time now that we bring in the North Tan Gang Mumbai question that is thrown at us, Vijay. This one comes from Bangalore. Ameya Badkamkar has this question on Kuldeep Yadav.
Before I ask you a question, I must admit that you both look cool in those Howzzat t-shirts. My question to you is, now that unfortunately, and I'm not happy to say this, 70% or more of the tournament is over, do you think, since we are using the same pitches, same grounds, reusing the same pitches, do you think that the pitches have become more spinner friendly and it makes more sense for Kolkata Knight Riders to start playing Kuldeep Yadav more often than benching him for the remainder of the tournament?
Amaya, that is a great question. We all love Kuldeep Yadav. We all love the fact that he can use his wrist spin and be very effective. But over the last couple of seasons, he seems to be lacking in confidence, has not been the same bowler that we have known him to be. I'm sure he will discover his mojo. I'm sure he will have conversations with some senior spin bowlers, Anil Kumble perhaps, and then find out that he's really a very, very good bowler and regain his confidence. But in a smaller ground like in Sharjah, I don't see him playing tonight. Going to be difficult for him. It's been an up and down season for Kuldeep Yadav. But the fact that Varun Chakravarti and Sunil Narayan are two key spin bowlers for KKR may continue to keep Kuldeep Yadav out of the game. Sad, but that is the reality that Kuldeep Yadav will have to contend with.
Yes, Rajaraman, and well said about Kuldeep Yadav. But please don't forget the compliments our friend has given on how good we look in these T-shirts, which have been given to us by Arjun Gupta of Crackbuzz, a budding cricketer. He used to play with the Sonic Club. So thank you very much, Amaya. Thank you, Arjun.
On that note, Vijay, I will take leave of you. Thank you very much for your time and have a lovely day.
Yeah, thank you, Rajaraman. You also have a good day.